interesting call. Okay, so I'm going to talk with the brain. Has anybody heard from their kids or maybe themselves about the hand model of the brain? Other than Dr. Carney. Oh, somebody in the back there. Nice. Are you going to come up and help me? No. Okay. Okay, so I'm hoping what I talk to you about today you can take home and share with your kids, no matter what age they are, kindergarten all the way through to high school, and that maybe you can ask them if they've learned about this in class as well, because it's part of some of the programs that we have in our schools is about learning about the brain. As we learn about the brain, we can learn about why we respond different ways and what our emotions are all about. So the hand model of the brain, I don't own this. This wonderful guy named Dr. Dan Siegel developed this way to explain the brain. But if you can look it up on YouTube, you'll get a lot of lovely videos across different ages of how to explain it if you need some of those tips. So I'm going to ask everybody to get out their brains. Keep your heads on, but let's see your hand here because we're going to do hand model. So everybody has to participate. It's going to help you stay awake in this heat. And it's past my bedtime, I think, already. I have 2 young kids, so you know what that's like. So everybody get out their brains. I'm just waiting for a couple people here. Okay, so this is our brain. It kind of sits like this in our head, right? We have this being our spinal cord. Takes all the information up from our body, from our lungs, from our heart, and delivers that information into our brain so we can understand what's going on. Just peel those fingers up and open. Okay, so in this part of the brain is our emotion center of the brain. It's where our limbic system is. So this is also the part of our brain that is going to help keep us safe. Have you heard of fight, flight, or freeze? Yeah, that's where this is happening in the limbic system, in the amygdala. Super fun word. These words are really fun for kids to learn too. Amygdala, okay? So when in your amygdala, the emotion center of the brain, again, that fight, flight, or freeze. So if we're feeling really nervous about something or scared about something, that part of our brain is what helps us figure that out, but responds so quick. It responds quicker than us having to think about it. It just keeps us safe. So if we all of a sudden had a tiger come into the room, we would not think about and evaluate that tiger or weigh out the pros and cons about what to do. We would hightail it out the other end of the room, right? We don't want to have to process all that information. We want to act super quick. Thank you for all keeping your brains up. I really appreciate this. Okay, so that part of the brain is not going to distinguish about whether it's a tiger or whether it's a math test, or whether it's a bear, or whether your friend's yelling at you. That part of the brain is only going to worry about safety. Okay, and that's really important. So wrap those fingers back around. This is the higher order thinking. This is where all the problem solving happens, the part of the brain that helps you think about thinking, the part of the brain where you can reason and rationalize, the part of the brain we need at work, the part of the brain we need at school, the part of the brain we need in our relationships. It's called the Prefrontal Cortex, or the PFC. Another really cool word for kids to learn. The Hippocampus is another one. I'm not going to cover it today, but you're going to be so interested in knowing about the brain, you're going to go home and find those YouTube videos and figure out what the Hippocampus is. There's a little cliffhanger for you. So the Prefrontal Cortex is that part of the brain, it's almost like right between your eyebrows right here. It's the part of the brain that helps you think and rationalize. So you want that part of the brain connected to the emotion part of your brain so you can work through those emotions. So that part of your brain can calm the emotion side of your brain and say, you got this math test. You studied so hard. You're ready for this. Take a deep breath. Okay? So everybody take a second here and with your hand model. I know I'm not done yet, but I will be done soon. You're not going to stay here forever. You can switch hands, switch brains. I won't judge you for that. Okay? So think about it. For me right now, my kids are almost 3 and 6. What happens for me when they're fighting? Whoop! I flip my lid. Sometimes I do things to bring it back online so I can help them work through it. But if I'm hungry, like right after work, if I'm really tired because right now my 3-year-old likes to wake up and tell me he loves me all night, so sweet, but I'm not sleeping. So those things make me flip my lid a lot easier, right? All those physiological things get in the way of how much our brain can stay online. Okay. So for you, let's think about this. Tax time. Okay, I see a couple lids flipping. You're bringing home the groceries, you're carrying the groceries up the stairs, and the bags break. work, something extra gets piled on your plate that you didn't have any time for, a parent calls you angry, a teacher calls home angry, any of those things that you're dealing with. Flipping lids? Yeah. So as adults, our lids flip all the time. We've developed strategies over the years to help bring our brain back online. You can put your brains down now. I think they're probably all tired at this point. Things like breathing strategies. I know we talk about breathing all the time, and you're all doing it right now, so I know we all have some level of expertise in our breathing, but we can use our breathing to help bring our prefrontal cortex back online so that we can problem solve. Okay, so kids are learning about their brains in this way in school. So that's my not so long but short enough kind of review of the brain, but I really suggest you learn this more, because it's so cool to talk to your kids about these three parts of the brain, the amygdala, the hippocampus, and the prefrontal cortex. They're going to have these really cool words and feel so empowered to know what's happening in their brains and bodies, and you can do this very easily through some of the information I'm going to share with you and through some of the information you can find online. So talking about emotion regulation and feelings, there are no good and bad feelings. There's feelings that maybe are a little bit more difficult to feel, and feelings that maybe feel a little bit better to feel, but all feelings are okay. It's never not okay to be angry. We all have the right to be angry, and we can't necessarily even control what we're angry about sometimes. It can kind of feel like it just happens. It's the behavior that comes with some of those feelings that can get us into tricky situations, right? So it's important that we understand what we're feeling and we can figure out how to identify that we know our feeling words, right? We know all those different ways we can express what we're feeling inside and how maybe worry feels a little bit different than anger or frustration. And through talking about some of these feeling words, we can develop that like emotional word bank and that awareness word bank so we can have these great conversations with our kids. But we do this also through modeling. And just a quick little tip as we go forward, I like to think about, am I pointing a finger or am I kind of like checking in with my thumb, right? Am I saying, you're making me feel angry, or am I saying, oh, I'm feeling angry right now? You're making me feel frustrated. I'm feeling frustrated. I need a moment, right? Those feel very different. The other person is likely to get offensive or defensive about what's happening versus me owning my feeling and labeling it and creating a model for kids to do the same. So I guess, we have to work on this in order to help our kids work on this. And even though we have, I have this fancy training and all this reading and this is what I do for a living, my lid still flips when my kids are fighting or they're whining or sometimes when I'm hangry, right? It's a life experience, it happens, but I can work that muscle of getting my prefrontal cortex back online quicker and through modeling some of those skills as well. So very quickly, we have some of these programs in schools to help teach emotional literacy, to help teach self-regulation and what's going on in our brains and in our bodies. We have a program called Mind Up. They're talking about the different parts of the brain in Mind Up. So if your kids are in a classroom where they're using Mind Up, they're going to know all these fancy words. It feels super cool being able to teach you about them. So integrate them into that conversation. Zones of Regulation is another program that helps kids label feelings and develop a toolbox about how to respond to those feelings when they're tricky. Can You Feel It? It's a program that's for the older grades looking at stress and coping strategies as well. And then we also have it throughout the curriculum. So when you connect it to all the different aspects of our curriculum and courses, you can weave mental health, you can weave teaching self-regulation and emotional literacy throughout, right? Think about gym, think about even the characters and the stories that you're reading about, helping label their emotions and talking about how they problem solve, or if their brain was online or not. You can watch a movie and go through that process, labeling emotions, thinking about where the brain's at. So many fun ways you can integrate these things. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is this strategy, and I'm hoping you take it away, a couple of these things tonight that I'm telling you about, you can take away and use right after this session. This is an emotion-focused interaction. I'm going to take you through the 4 steps. It's going to seem really simple and easy. I'm going to tell you it's a lot harder to do because you need to regulate yourself in order to do it, because that thing that's happening in front of you might still be bugging you, right? So if your child is angry over the fact that their Paw Patrol character, got left in the car, or you want a specific color green and you don't have that color green, or their brother broke their crayon, I don't know, any of those things, it might not be the thing that they're really upset about might not necessarily make sense to you. Or it might not feel like a level 10, but they're experiencing at a level 10. But gosh, we know what anger feels like. We know what frustration feels like. And we can connect and identify with our child around that emotion, right? And so, attend. Notice the feeling. To notice the feeling, like Dr. Carney talked about, we have to be present and engaged with our child. We have to notice they're having that difficult moment. We have to label the emotion, and we can get this wrong. We don't have to get it right. We don't always know what other people are thinking, but if we guess, they'll either nod their head or they'll correct us, and that creates a pathway. If you look at Dan Siegel's work, labeling the emotion, identifying it, giving it a name, brings your prefrontal cortex back online, and then you can move to problem solving, which is where you want to get to anyways, right? Validate. Even when it doesn't make sense. So, oh gosh, you're angry, you really love that Paw Patrol figure and you wanted to sleep with Chase tonight and he got left in the car. That is so frustrating. Right? Validate. Validate the emotion. Find a way to connect with that emotion and validate it. Even if it's through that labeling process, one thing you can say to make them feel felt, emotions want to be heard and they want to be felt. Adults, we move into rationalizing and explaining either the feeling or explaining why they shouldn't have the feeling quite quickly. What happens is that keeps the prefrontal cortex offline and keeps the emotion being felt because nobody's hearing me, nobody's getting it. I'm still in distress. So labeling it helps us feel connected and helps us feel safe, and that way we can work through the problem. Try this with your partners, with your friends. It works very great across the ages. But validate looks a lot different than being, sarcastic or a cheerleader. You need to really feel authentic in that process. Meet the need. Your child is sad. They need comfort. Sadness is looking for comfort, right? Maybe that's a hug. Maybe that's a connection. Angry is looking for validation. You don't want to soothe anger. That's annoying. When you're angry, you don't want to be told to oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. You want to say, oh, that was so frustrating, as if your boss did that today. You didn't need that. What a long day. You've been working so hard, haven't you? I get why you're angry about that. That feels so much better than being told to calm down or don't worry about it, tomorrow will be different. Right? So we want to meet the need of the emotion. And that's really this in a nutshell. There's more information about this again online, and maybe we could also put up this slide as a handout. I think it's on the website for the presentation tonight. But this is a great strategy to use when your child is super escalated or having a really difficult time, or if they're just feeling sad or down. Like, this is going to work regardless of the emotion. But this would be something that we're teaching our teaching staff, teaching the school support staff about what to do when a child is really, really upset, right? When the lid is flipped to the extreme. The labeling and validating helps work with the brain to bring them to a place of calm. It might hit that place and then it might go back up again, as that happens. Or you might have to repeat this process until the prefrontal cortex feels like it can stay connected, like you're safe again, but you keep going through that process. So, for time's sake, are we still watching the video? Okay, we're gonna skip this video, but the cool thing about the internet is you can all watch it at home. So, in true school fashion, we will give you some homework. This is a lovely video. Has anybody seen this video, Brene Brown? Yeah, we have some people in the audience. It is so good to watch. It's only about 3 or 4 minutes, and it gives you a really good indication about what this validation really means and how it can really, be difficult when you're feeling dismissed or when somebody's, one-upping you or saying the yeah, but. This is a really good description of that in a cartoon format, and Brene Brown is lovely to listen to. So homework, watch the video, talk to your partner, talk to a friend about this, or if you have an older child, you can watch it together and talk about it. That's a great piece of homework too.
Just Google empathy, Brene Brown, and you're away, yeah.
Yeah, and the link will also be, I think the slides or something is up online, so you'll have lots of different ways to get to your homework assignment. No stretch break. I'm so sorry. You can all do that together as we switch our mics. This is very important stuff we're covering.